First time in Costa Rica, it was a brand new experience. I had actually been to a lot of the Central American countries and South American countries in the military. So I knew a little bit about the culture, I knew a little bit about the language, but I had never, it was always under the guise of a military operation. So coming down to Costa Rica as a youth pastor, bringing a bunch of kids to come down for a mission experience was a totally new experience. And I remember being struck that week by just how friendly and accommodating the people were. They had nothing tangible to give, but they would give you their last cup of coffee. They were so open to prayer. They were so welcoming and just hospitable that the culture immediately just spoke to my spirit, because I was like, these are just real people, down to earth. And my first experience in Costa Rica was incredible. Right in my deepest moments, God would give me little confirmations and say, this is where I have you, and this is where I want you, and this is why. And I remember I was really discouraged. I was going to language school. It was very academic. I'm not academic at all. I was a horrible student, but I accelerated 2 classes because I would go around and actually talk to people and practice it and immerse. And that's how I learned the language. I remember one time we were in Juan Pablo. The first neighborhood I wandered into, it was all coffee plantation and dirt road going into it. And I just walked down this dirt road one day trying to find people to practice my Spanish with. Early on, I was just kind of discouraged, like, what am I doing? And I got a call, and it was a lady from Juan Pablo, and she called and she said, hey, would you come pray for my baby? She's really sick. And I thought, yes, finally something that a missionary would do. Like, finally I get to do something cool. So I grabbed my aid bag and threw it in the truck, and I drove down, and I walk in the house, and she hands me this infant that's probably 9 months old. And this girl was just eaten up with fever. And I look in her mouth, and her tonsils are all swollen. Her adenoids are swollen and little white dots. I mean, textbook tonsillitis. And I was just like, this girl needs to go to the hospital. Like, I didn't feel comfortable recommending to an infant. I just didn't know enough. So I was like, we need to go to the hospital. And she was resistant. She's like, well, I have my boys need to go to school and yada, yada. So she was very resistant. I'm like, look, we got to work this out. This is a very real deal for your child. This could be, I didn't want to say fatal, but I knew in my mind, the infection continued. This could be fatal for a baby. So I told her, I was like, look, what we'll do is get the kids off to school in the morning. And while the kids are at school, I'll take you and your baby down to the hospital. And I started to leave. And she's like, well, aren't you going to pray? And I was like, oh yeah, like, okay. So I remember she was holding the baby. I remember praying for her, and I prayed the most anemic prayer you could ever pray. Keep mom comfortable, give the doctors wisdom. Not once did I utter, God heal this child. Next morning, I call her and I'm like, hey, I'm coming down to pick up you and the baby, and we're going to the hospital. And she was like, you don't need to, she's fine. And I'm like, this poor uneducated woman, like, she just doesn't know the threat this is to her child. So I get down to her house and I'm like, hey, we need to go to the hospital. This is for real. And she's like, no, she's fine. And she handed me the baby, no fever. I'd check her throat, no swollen adenoid, nothing at all. And I'm like, what did you give her? What did you do? And she's like, you prayed. And about 15 minutes after you left, she was fine. And it blew me away. And all I can think is that while I was praying in English, that mother was praying for her child in Spanish to a God that heals, and prayed a prayer of faith that said, please heal my child. There's no other scientific explanation. It was a miraculous healing. And God let me see a little part of that. And I was like, okay, thanks for the reminder. Now I remember why you have me here. I mean, for 20 years, I could go on story after story of God's provision with the teams. We were there doing a children's VBS, and it was a team from Jacksonville, but it was raining so bad. And they were like, well, let's just pray. And I was like, okay, I was like, yeah, okay, pray. But I mean, it was a frog strangler. It was coming down every direction. And that team circled up and prayed. And I'm not kidding. Like, the skies over Juan Pablo opened up. And that field, it was sunny blue skies. and the team was able to play with the kids and do the VBS, and we could literally see the rain all around us. And just little things like that are the things that God does here that teams are like, they can't ignore it. Like, that had to be God, because nobody else can control the weather like that. So there's just, I mean, countless stories of how God, team after team, has worked miracles of healing, miracles with the weather, miracles with just all kinds of different things that you could never ask or imagine that He's pleased to do.